Hello everyone. So today I want to talk a little bit about Everquest, the first one, which is the game that came out in 1999. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, my favorite genre of video games was the mmorpg, and I started with Ultima Online, moved on to Everquest, then eventually Asheron's Call, etc, etc. But today I'm playing Everquest, and the reason is because I watched a video of Carnage playing some Pantheon. If you don't know, Pantheon is a new MMO that's coming out in the hopefully near future. It's been in the works forever. Anyways, I'm interested in it because it's one of those new MMOs that's trying to bring back the classic formula of MMOs. It's sort of a spiritual successor to Everquest, or even Vanguard Saga of Heroes, which is a MMO I really like and I wish was still around. I would say that was the last true MMO for me. Whenever I see footage of a new MMO that I'm interested in, or even if I watch like a show that has to do with MMOs, for example an anime called Sword Art Online, it makes me think back to the late 90s or early 2000s when I was really into the MMO genre, and it makes me want to play one of those old school MMOs. So that's why today I'm checking out Everquest. It's been a very long time since I played Everquest. I actually dabble in Everquest 2 a lot, pretty much every year I kind of go back to it for a few weeks and just mess around. I have a level 60 Fury in Everquest 2. But Everquest 1 I haven't really messed with much, at least not the live servers. I've messed with emulated servers, for example, years ago on my other YouTube channel, I've done a video on a server called Shards of Delaya, or is it Delaya? I don't know. But that one, it takes the classic Everquest game and it kind of does its own thing with it, and it messes with its own story and lands and stuff, but I don't know, I didn't get too far into it. There's also Project 1999, which is Everquest from 1999 up until the first, I want to say 3 expansions, but it gives you that classic Everquest experience. I just made a level 6 monk on there, but other than that I haven't really messed with Everquest 1 much, so that's what I'm doing today. One good thing about going back to older MMOs these days is that most of them seem to have some type of free-to-play option, and so that's what I'm trying here with Everquest. You can also subscribe if you want to get some additional features and play on the progression servers, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But for now, here is the character creation screen, and you can see some Christmas holiday stuff in the background because it is Christmas time as I'm filming this. Now you might look at these graphics and think, oh my god, this is so old and ugly. These graphics are actually updated graphics from, I believe, the Shadows of Luckland expansion? Is it Luckland? Lukeland? Looseland? I don't know. Anyways, they allow a little more customization on the head. Although I wonder if there's a way to go back to the original graphics. Because I do remember briefly trying this years ago, and you did have the option to play with these newer Everquest graphics or the originals. Or maybe I'm thinking of Shards of Delaya, I don't know. If anyone knows the answer to that, let me know. I also noticed that when you pick a class, they do the stats for you, and they also hide it under this advance button, where you have to click the advance button to bring up your stats. It's like they think you're too stupid to do your own stats. That's part of the fun of creating your character, you know, just like if you play D&D, a big part of your character is your stats, and you kind of want to do that on your own, but so that's kind of annoying. Back when Everquest first came out, I played a monk. I don't know why I picked a monk, but I had a lot of fun with it. And since throughout the years of playing MMOs, I've learned to love playing a healer. I love healer classes, especially ones that can wear plate armor. So now I decided to try out the cleric. I was thinking cleric or a paladin. So I picked the cleric, and I noticed there's a tutorial button. Just for video purposes, I went with the tutorial. So after it loads, it gives you a little story cutscene. The kobolds of Glooming Deep dig far below the surface of Norat. Greedy for treasure and the dark secrets of the depths, they recklessly expand their slave raids towards the nearby settlements of your homeland. Many have already been captured, few have escaped, fearing the further approach of Gloomingdale raiding parties. Your kindred have chosen you to journey to your home city and deliver a plea for help. As the gods would have it, you are captured long before you reach the capital, alone and far from home. You find yourself beneath the lash of the glooming deep kobolds. You are relentlessly questioned about the note you are carrying. Regardless of your answers, the kobolds pummel you between interrogations. As the hours pass, hope for survival fades. Soon you slip into unconsciousness. I actually like that little story. It's very simple and to the point and easy to follow. And then you start out in this jail cell with this guy named Arias, and it gives you a bunch of tutorial messages and stuff, and it tells you exactly what to do. And you can't close the tutorial window no matter how many times you click the OK button. So you talk to Arias, and he patches you up and talks about escaping. He mentions that he picked the door lock, and he wants you to help him take down the jailer. So you find the jailer in the next room. You just beat him up, easy peasy. Grab the key, give it to Arias. And then you get warped to this next area full of NPC quest givers and tutorial people. And it seems like I've tried making a character with the tutorial button checked and unchecked, and it seems like if you just uncheck the tutorial, it brings you just straight here instead of that first part where you have to fight the jailer. So there's not much difference. So I did some of the questing here, but it's just your usual standard kill this many rats or kill this many spiders or whatever, find this item. And I was just getting really bored, and it just felt like every other MMO that's out today. Like, I could have stayed there and just got to level 15 easily, and each quest also gave you like an armor piece or something, and it was just like handing you everything easily. I wanted to go to Qeynos, which is the starting human city back in the day. I just wanted to start like fresh, like just do my own thing, not have to do quest after quest. And thankfully you can actually bypass this tutorial area. If you go to Arias and you type in ready to leave, he'll port you to the Plains of Knowledge, I believe it's called. And from there you could teleport anywhere. And so I went to Qeynos, which is the starting city that I know the most from back in the day. So now I'm in front of the Qeynos gates, which is where I wanted to be originally. My cleric is level 4 at this point, so I want to see what spells I'm missing, and so I head to my guild area, to the merchants that sell my spells, and I load up my spellbook with some new spells, and then I head out to the front of Qeynos. The mobs at the front gate are only like level 1 or 2, so they're really easy for my guy right now. So I head down to the next area, which is Qeynos Hills, to find something more suitable for my level. And I also want to see how something that cons white or yellow to me, which would be equal or higher level than me, I wanted to see how hard it was on live now. And I think I know the perfect place to test it, which is Black Burrow. Black Burrow is a dungeon full of gnolls, which are these like humanoid dog-like creatures. But they're not man's best friend, oh no, they hate you. So I see one outside the entrance. It cons white to me, which means it's equal to my level, which is level 4. And I fight it, and I pretty much kick its ass. It's pretty easy. It only got me down to like level 80-something% health. After that, I felt brave and decided to go inside the dungeon and see how I do in there. And as I was heading in the entrance, I noticed that there was one knoll just like right at the zone line, which I don't even remember being there back in the day, but I guess it was. It's just that what's different now is that no one is here, whereas back in the day when I used to play during the heyday of Everquest, there was always people at the entrance just like sitting down, and I guess they would kill that knoll that would always pop there. And so I never noticed it before. But anyways, after going inside, I look, and once again there's no people, so like all the mobs in the beginning are there, where usually it would be kind of empty. And one spots me, and it starts a little train and pulls all the little beginning guys. I'm like, uh-oh. I zone back out, and then that one knoll that's waiting at the entrance is there, and he attacks me, so I'm like, uh-oh, let me zone back. But the group of mobs that first attacked me were still there. They didn't run back to their spots yet. So they attacked me again. I was like, oh, let me go back. And I was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, between this one yellow knoll and then a bunch of knolls. So I stood my ground and fought the yellow knoll, and starting at 70 HP. But I was still able to get him pretty easily. I noticed as he ran away, he was kind of getting stuck in the walls a bit. And then once I killed him, when he was kind of stuck in one wall, another knoll, like I guess one of the outside knolls, like teleported in. It is kind of a weird bug or something. I don't remember those kind of things happening back in the day, but maybe they did. So after that, I feel like I got a pretty decent first impression look at the EQLive servers today. So I decided to try the Project 1999 servers again, and I made a cleric and a paladin. I leveled both up to level 4, and I did the same test. I went to the same knoll at the entrance of Black Burrow. It was conned yellow to me, and this time the fight went pretty differently. I had to use like all my mana, and it was like a very even fight, and I lost in the end. I think I messed up one or two of my spells or targeting. But either way, it was very different from the live EQLive fight. And so that tells me that they did make things a bit easier in EQLive as far as like combat with certain enemies. Unless maybe the starting armor I got from the tutorial area really helped or something, I don't know. I will say I had more fun on Project 1999 because I like the challenge. I like that there's no plane of knowledge, so no fast travel, and it takes longer to level up and stuff. What I don't like about Project 1999 though is the lack of quality of life features. For example, you know, in every MMO these days, if you go to third person, you can easily move the camera around your character. But in Project 1999, the third person camera is only on your back. There's no way to spin it around unless you like change the camera mode into one of the other crappy camera angles. And other little things like NPCs having titles, like you could tell what's a shopkeeper or what's a guild leader. I believe you can't see like the cooldown time on your buffs and stuff, but I think you can in EQLive. I might be wrong about that. But it's just those little things that really irk me about Project 1999. And I know it's supposed to be like exactly like Everquest was in its first year or two, but I feel like you could let a little bit of those quality of life features in and not ruin it. That's just my opinion. So EQLive also has progression servers, which does something similar to Project 1999, where they go back to the classic version of Everquest, and then I think every like 2 months they add on the next expansion. Everquest 2 does this as well, and I've seen some other older MMOs do it. I believe WoW does it. I've seen Anarchy Online do it, and they do pretty well. A lot of people come back to those games just for those type of servers. If you play on a progression server, let me know in the comments, and let me know if it has any of the quality of life features that I mentioned earlier. I also wonder how experience is split between a group, because I believe in Project 1999, let's say I was grouping with one other person. it would split the experience like 50-50 instead of both of us each getting full experience for a mob. And I think Live allows for everyone to get 100% experience. So I'm curious how it is on the progression server. And that's pretty much all I have to say about EverQuest today. If you want to see any more EverQuest videos, let me know and I'll make a couple more.